Hello, Seekers. It's Brooke from BrookeReadsTarot.com, coming to you from historic Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, and this is your tarot outlook for the week beginning Sunday, November 20th, 2022. I tend to swear early and often, so my content is not intended for young audiences. Please like and subscribe from wherever it is you are joining me from. And if you enjoy our time together, please visit BrookeReadsTarot.com to book a session of your own. For these outlooks, I like to turn cards for past or present as well as future. That way I can see if we have any previous or currently unfolding events that are influencing the upcoming week's happenings. And if you find nothing in this session seems to apply to you, know that the tarot considers no news to be good news. So keep listening to your intuition. So settle in and say hello to my guide and doorkeeper, Fergus. I am going to sit back here for a moment and open the channel. Mother Goddess, Father God, guides, guardians, ancestors, please be with me now as I have need of your knowledge of all things, past, present, and future, on behalf of those experiencing this transmission in a timely fashion. Please grant that I am the perfect channel. Please grant that I am the perfect receiver. Please grant that I am the perfect interpreter of your knowledge as it shows itself in my cards. Fergus, please open the door to any and all benevolent beings, as well as our own dearly departed, who would like to contribute accurate, relevant information to this session. And please bring me to the level you need me to be so that I may serve both the living and the dead. And so it is. All right, now I'm going to shuffle and cut 3 times, and I will pull 5 cards for energies that are going to influence the week upcoming. These will be past or currently unfolding events and situations. And then I will pull 5 more that shows us the shape of things to come for the week of November 20th. And this is shuffle and cut number 3. And our 5 cards influencing the upcoming week: the Strength, the High Priestess, the 10 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Pentacles. And our future cards, I am going to set right over here for future reference. Okay, so last week it looks like we were having some trials and tribulations as evidenced by the Tower. This Strength card coming in here shows me that you have at least considered marshaling the courage and the strength to address in a proactive, positive, truly helpful way whatever that collapsing situation happens to be, okay? This bodes well for your attitude, for your outlook, okay? The Strength card is exactly what it sounds like. However, to me, there's always an element of diplomacy here. This card brings up the concept of music soothing the savage beast. So, are there negotiations to be made? This is not a card of blowing smoke up someone's ass in order to get what you want, or telling them what they want to hear in order to get them to comply. This is about bringing good ideas. This is about presenting the true and honest best of yourself. And if we are talking about a situation where all parties have a relevant stake, then this is about using your diplomacy, using your brains, and using your sense of fairness in order to negotiate an outcome that is beneficial and desirable for all. Okay, some of the wisest people in the world will say there are no solutions, there are only compromises. So This may be something that you want to brush up on a little bit, but the Strength card shows me that you have what it takes and that these abilities, you have exercised them in the past, or they are a quality that is unfolding in you. So now would be a good time to exercise them. Okay, the High Priestess. The High Priestess shows me that your spirituality, not your religion, but your relationship with your higher self and the higher energies of this plane and those beyond are going to be a playing factor here. And what is most notable about the High Priestess is that she searches for her spiritual inspiration, her spiritual knowledge, the confirmation, the validation of her intuition in every place that she so chooses. If you notice, she sits between the pillars of Boaz and Wahim, all right, from the Temple of Solomon, the legendary, Temple of Solomon. She wears the crown of the triple goddess, okay, of paganism and Wicca and the feminine mysteries. She wears the crucifix of Christianity and or Catholicism, okay? She holds the scroll of the Torah, and she has her foot on the crescent moon of the religion of Muslims. So she does not limit herself to where she looks for her information, and she is wise enough to take what works for her and leave what doesn't without judgment against those for whom it does work. Yes? So free your mind here and start looking for information and inspiration and solutions in places that feel like they are more in alignment with what feeds your spiritual house. Okay. Where do I want to put these? All right. Let's come over here to the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles are our house of the material, the job, the real estate, the bank account, all of that sort of stuff. The Two of Pentacles shows us that the money is balanced right now. It's pretty much even in, even out. Maybe we've caught up on the budget and things are feeling a little bit more comfortable. What is coming in is adequate to pay the bills. All right. So things are sort of copacetic right now. But what I also read in this card is, and again, we are talking about past or currently unfolding influences. You may do well to reallocate some assets toward another project, another aspect. Money is energy. Money is liquid energy. It is almost the closest thing that we come to that is like magic in this realm. You can turn it into pretty much anything that you want. Where you have allocated your funds, where you have allocated your assets, can you shift things around in order to drive or to benefit other areas, other sectors? Is this money that you can put into a project? Is this something that is asking you to put a little more money into your savings account or wherever it is that you may be building your nest egg? Your assets may be a little bit stagnant as they are allocated. So see if there's a place where you can put your resources where they can work a little harder for you. The Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles, this is a card that comes up for the self-employed or for those who desire perhaps to be self-employed. The Eight of Pentacles indicates a relatively solitary, perhaps self-starting workplace. This is not necessarily someone who makes their living immersing themselves in the public, okay? This is the card of crafters. This is, again, the card of the self-employed or the small business employed. Those of us who work best when we are left to our own devices and our own judgment, okay? Do you have a side gig or a hobby that has the potential to spin money? Perhaps now is the time to reallocate a portion of your assets to drive, to grow this other gig, okay? And again, these are past or currently unfolding influences. But all of that is going to be made a little bit difficult with the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands shows us that we are carrying way too much. We are trying to do way too much. We are in sight of our goals, but we are burdened and overloaded with tasks that require our energy that do not get us any closer to where we want to go. The Ten of Wands asks us, are we doing things for other people that they should be doing themselves? Can we delegate? Okay, can we get some of these unnecessary and burdensome tasks off of our plate? You are going to have to free yourself up. If the Eight of Pentacles is a card that resonates with you, your little gig here, you're going to have to free up some of the other things that require your energy and require your focus in order to give this the attention that it needs, okay? So those are our influences, and let's talk about the week upcoming. We've got the Nine of Wands, the Two of Swords, the Empress, the Eight of Cups, and the Knave of Swords. Now, I'm going to come over here straight off to the Eight of Cups. I do believe that this came up last week, where we have been asked asked to make some quiet time to begin a journey of emotional betterment, emotional healing, a concerted individual effort to decide how you want to feel about things in a way that truly supports your emotional balance and well-being. This is still on the plate, honey. If you haven't put your boots on, it's time. Come on. We're looking for this one last thing. We are complete in ourselves. That is always the truth. But there is an element of refinement here that is just going to help you have a fuller, more robust, and healthier emotional outlook. But even though you feel like you are not prepared, even though you feel like this is a journey into the dark soul and the dark of night, do it, because your betterment and your emotional wellness is on the other side. Okay, so this is still on the menu for you, and I hope that you are rising to this, whatever it looks like for you, because you are starting wherever it is that you are, and that's okay, because that's where we all start. Let's come over here to a little bit of conflict, some indecision with the Two of Swords. Swords are our house of challenges and difficulties, but also that of the logical, linear, rational mind. And in this case, the Two of Wands says, well, we look like we've got some options, and maybe this has bearing on whatever your tower situation was from last week. That situation that just looks like it's crumbling all to shit, and you feel like you've got some decisions that need to be made. Well, you may not feel that you know enough about either decision in order to make a wholesome, confident decision. Or neither of these choices may feel like they are ideal. A crappy feeling choice is still a choice. That doesn't mean that you have to make it, but it's still an option, even if it is undesirable. Okay, so whatever this tower situation is, your remedies for it, your situations of your options of extricating yourself from it, there may need to be more information forthcoming, and there may be things that need to unfold a bit further before we feel that we are confident to make one choice over another. Okay, so even though this feels vastly uncomfortable, please be patient and be alert, because the Knave of Swords says that this challenge, this information, right, because we're going to read it now as waiting for this information. So we're going to read this in the realm of the logical mind as opposed to overcoming challenges and difficulties. The Knave of Swords says that in this immature state, it is too soon. It is too soon. Not enough has unfolded information-wise, logical information-wise, that tells us how we can move forward in that realm. Okay, so hang tight as best as you can. While you are waiting on this information, why don't you focus on your Eight of Cups here, my darling, and focus inward. Okay, take that time, use it wisely while you are waiting for other things. So the Nine of Wands, I think, so the Ten of Wands showed us that we are doing too many things that are not getting us closer to our goals. The Nine of Wands shows us that we know that we have one central thing, one thing that we put our energy to, one thing that we do that we know we have to change. We either have to stop doing it or change the way that we do it, okay, and shift this energy. And it'll be a significant thing, a rather central thing. We know that we need to do this differently, or give the task to the person to whom it actually belongs. But anyway, we know that we need to do this differently. But when we think about all of the other things that are attached to this task, this expenditure of energy, then that means that we are going to have to do all of these other things differently. And that sounds like way too much. And so we don't do the central thing differently. That is a trap. That is a trap of the ego that makes us afraid to take a risk. That is a trap of the ego that makes us want to stay exactly where we are because it feels good enough, or it feels like we are surviving. And you may very well be, but the Ten of Wands shows very clearly that you're having difficulty moving forward. So if you want to move forward, you are going to have to do this thing differently. Now, all of those other things that you were worried that were going to change or that you were going to have to do differently, as they stand right now, they are all predicated on the dis-ease of this central thing, okay? When you correct this central thing, all of the associated things that you were worried about, they will either correct themselves for the better by default because they must, or they will simply go into non-being, all right? So do this thing, change this thing, fix this thing, do it differently. The rest will align itself. And we will wrap up this session with the Empress. Now, for those of you who are so inclined, the Empress is a card of marriage and babies. So if you are waiting on baby news, this is a good omen. But aside from that, the Empress is a card of fertility and increase in all of its meanings. So this could mean good financial news coming up for you. This could mean very simply the fruits, the rewards that come with the seeds you have planted. This is a card that says what you sow will be so much greater than the seeds, what you reap will be so much greater than the seeds that you sown and the effort that you put in. It will bear fruit, long-lasting fruit, because wheat is a produce that can be stored for later. So again, that bodes well for financial health. And this is a card of feminine intuition, which if you're a guy tuning in, this begs you to start to listen to that aspect of yourself. There is a wealth of information that doesn't surface itself through blunt force. And maybe this Eight of Cups is an inspiration for you to do a little more of that inner seeking. Okay, this inner seeking is often characterized as having feminine energies, which is not necessarily attached to gender, but a more emotional, a more flowing, a more intuitive process. That energy bodes well for whatever self-work, emotional healing, whatever journey of growth and personal betterment that you find yourself on right now. The Empress says all systems are go, and it is time for you to listen to that small, quiet, intuitive voice inside you, perhaps to help you choose some direction, or perhaps to help you seek, as the High Priestess does. Where was she? In those other places where you must quiet yourself and detach yourself from the demands of the physical world in order to find. Okay? That's all I have for this week. I give my thanks to all who lovingly sat with me today. May we have the good sense to pay attention to what we have been shown, and to remember that we are loved and supported. Fergus, please close the door until next time. Please like, share, and subscribe, and visit BrookeReadsTarot.com to book a session of your own. Make it a good week, Seeker. I know that you can. And I will catch you next time.